Hey guys, earlier today, Johto dropped their new patch notes for Auto Chess releasing tomorrow, July 16th. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to talk about what the balance changes are and how I think that they'll be affecting the meta right now. So the weak synergy that they're going to be buffing this week is Warrior. They're making two large buffs to the two Cave Clan warriors, Swordsman and Red Axe Chief, with large increases to their skills, as well as buffing warriors slightly in the early game and keeping them the same in the late game. Also, what they're doing is they're increasing the beast synergy damage at the 4 beast mark and the 6 beast mark. They're also improving the AI for Tortola Elder as well as Flaming Wizard. They're nerfing God of War's damage, as well as nerfing Dragon Knight's damage, and also nerfing Shadow Crawler's damage. So how do I think that this is going to affect the meta? The Swordsman buff and the Red Axe Chief buff are both welcome right now because they both feel very lackluster, and they will bring more tech choices for warriors coming into this new meta. Warriors are in an okay place right now, with 9 warriors being the most prevalent warrior build, and then 6 warrior with 4 beast synergy build is probably the second most popular warrior build. So these balances don't really affect the 9 warrior build all that much, except making Swordsman and Red Axe Chief a little bit better. But these changes really buff the Beast Warrior build, with buffs to 6 warrior armor, as well as buffs to beast damage. So I think that Beast Warrior is probably going to be a little bit more prevalent in this patch. In terms of mages, with the God of War nerf, I think that Divinity mages are going to be struggling a little bit more in the early game, which is really good because before, if you got 2-star God of War, he was very, very oppressive and allowed Divinity mage builds to kind of win streak into level 8 and giving them the chance to get that God of Thunder really early and just demolishing the game. So with these 2 consecutive God of War nerfs, maybe God of War won't be the best 1-cost unit at 2 stars, so God mages will probably be struggling a little bit more in the early game. In terms of the AI buffs to Tortola Elder as well as Flaming Wizard, these don't really affect Divinity mages at all, but they do affect 3 mage builds as well as 6 mage builds. The reason that they don't affect Divinity mages all that much is because they don't run Tortola Elder or Flaming Wizard, because they run the Source instead, and you can't run the Source as well as Flaming Wizard or Tortola Elder. With these AI buffs, I think they'll help a little bit. Tortola doesn't seem too bad right now in terms of the AI. It always seems to be doing pretty good damage, as well as since the AoE is so large, it doesn't really matter who it's targeting. Flaming Wizard AI buff is pretty good considering the Beast Warrior buffs are going to be running Poisonous Worm a lot. So Flaming Wizard not targeting the Poisonous Worm wards is pretty impactful. We'll have to see how good mages are in this build. I think 6 mages are going to be run a little bit more often than Divinity mages, considering how much Divinity mages are going to be struggling in the early game now, but we'll have to see how that goes. The Dragon Knight nerf doesn't really affect Glacier Knights at all, especially if they're running the 3 Warlock build, because the 3 Warlock build doesn't run Dragon Knight. This does seem to affect Dragon Knights way more because Dragon Knight is such a staple in that build. Dragon Knight is the carry, and if you get Dragon Knight to 2 stars, that's when you pop off as the Dragon Knight build. I'm a little confused at this nerf because, in my opinion, Glacier Knights were a little bit better than Dragon Knights, especially in a head-to-head matchup. So I don't know why they would nerf Dragon Knight and not nerf anything else in the Knights build. But after this, you'll probably be seeing a lot less Dragon Knights just because of the overreaction to nerfs that any community has. And the last nerf that they made to Shadow Crawler is not too large of a nerf if you look at the numbers, but if you're considering how much Shadow Crawler is critting, these small damage numbers actually results in pretty large numbers once you get to those large crit numbers. We'll see how big of an impact this has on 6 Feathered 3 Assassins as well as 6 Assassin Druid builds, because Shadow Crawler is a staple in those builds, but only time will tell how big of an impact this relatively small nerf will have on Shadow Crawler. For my overall thought on these balance changes, I'm really surprised that they didn't touch Glacier Knights at all, considering how, in my opinion, oppressive they are in the current meta. They are touching Dragon Knights a little bit, which is good, and they're also touching Divinity Mages, as well as Feathered, as well as Assassins with a Shadow Color nerf. These builds are all actually very strong in the current meta, so this might actually result in more Glacier Knights being played, considering how they weren't actually touched very much in this balance patch. We'll see if Beast Warrior can stand up to Glacier Knights, but in my experience, it's an even matchup, but Glacier Knights outscale them in the late game. With the attack damage buffs to the Beast synergy at 4 Beasts, there's a chance that they'll be able to scale alongside Glacier Knights, but I don't think that'll be happening. I think that Glacier Knights are going to continue being the best build in the game and are going to be more oppressive than they were before. So yeah, those are my thoughts on how this patch is going to be affecting the meta. If you guys have anything to say, please let me know, because I'm very interested in what everyone else is going to be saying about this patch. Make sure to follow me on Twitch and Twitter, because I'm actually really active on both, as well as subscribing, because I'll be making some auto chess guides once the PC version drops. Once the PC version drops, I'll be releasing the guides very soon afterwards, because I want to get some high quality footage for the background. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.